We are at 11:30 on the dot, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you for coming to the OKcollegestart updates, reminders, and Q&A session. I'm Teresa Shackley. I know my name says session facilitator. I can't change that right now, but I'm Teresa Shackley, and I'm the OKcollegestart coordinator. And then Sarah Sanders is here today. She is our OKcollegestart specialist. And so we're going to have just few housekeeping things right off the top from the organizers of the conference, and then we'll jump into our session. They just wanted to remind you that you can provide feedback for this session and others that you've attended on the Whova app or on the Whova website. And then you should also receive an email on Thursday, which is tomorrow, letting you know how to give feedback on the overall conference and individual sessions. So be watching for that. Your microphone's muted right now. Pretty small group today, so we have a Q&A session here in the presentation, so feel free at that point to unmute, or you can drop your questions in the chat box, either on Zoom or Whova, however you joined. I can see both of those, so we will be sure to address any questions that come up in the chat during that Q&A session also. And I think that's it. So we're going to jump right in. As I mentioned, this is the OKcollegestart sessions. We have a couple of updates for you, just some minor things that are new on the website or with the program that we want to make sure you know about. First up is just a reminder, this is not new, but just a reminder that everything is free to you through the Oklahoma College Assistance Program and the Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education. So on OKcollegestart is provided to you guys free of charge. And then the next slide will show us, again, a reminder that we have gathered virtual campus tours for nearly every college in the state, public and private. We still have a couple that are finishing up their videos. Update those links. We look at it every week. I'm going to turn my video off to maybe give you guys some better from me. We look at the virtual tours every week and add any new ones or update links if things have moved. So keep that up to date. It's on okcollegestart.org under the College Planning tab. When you go to Explore Schools, then you'll see that list off on the right-hand side. You don't have to be logged in to access those. So that's a great resource for students and families to visit when they are looking to visit college campuses and can't make it to the physical campus for whatever reason. Next up is we did have an update on the website to our career profiles recently. So they have all the same information, it just looks a little different. So they're more colorful, they're cleaner, it's easier for students to see what information is there for them to review. And you'll notice the big blue button in the top that says Save to Portfolio. We've made that much clearer for students to see where it is they click to save these activities or save these profiles to come back to later. So in this example is agricultural engineer, you've got the video, and then the students can scroll down the page and learn more about the job. And then they still have the tabs on the right-hand side. If Sarah, if you'll click to the next button, it should show us the rest of the profile. That's going to show, as they click through those tabs, it will pop up additional information comparing the career they're looking at to their interest assessments, their career cluster survey, their basic skills survey, all of those different assessments they take. It will put those answers from their assessments right here with the career so they can see how well they match up. So just a clean new look for the career profiles for students. We also wanted to make sure you knew that summer academies are happening this summer. If you are not familiar with these are available on college campuses across the state. They are completely free to students. The funding comes through the state regents for higher education. And essentially it's like a summer camp, or they're focused on STEM. So they're all different STEM activities, and there are different kinds. There are some where students stay on the campus and stay overnight for the week or the weekend and focus in on different activities. I think there's one for gardening and there's one for, different types of STEM activities. So if you go to OKcollegestart.org and click on the high school planning tab, the Summer Academies information is on the right side, and you don't have to be logged in to get to it either. On this website, you will find a list of every single academy that's available across the state this summer. It will have information about how to apply, who to contact, and what grades can participate. Throughout all of them, it's for students that are entering 8th through 12th grade in the fall. So today they are 7th through 11th graders, and they can start applying now. Those applications are all open. So please feel free to share these with students. They were initially designed, or they're intended for maybe students that have never been on a college campus or might not have opportunities like this, but there aren't really strict guidelines that are going to exclude any student in any situation. So definitely check these out and make sure you share these with students and families. And as I mentioned, it's just on the high school planning tab. You'll find all that information about the different academies. A couple of reminders. Sarah and I are both going to share this part of the presentation. First up, we just want to gently talk about the end of the school year. I know it's not quite here, but I imagine most of you see it on the horizon. So there are a few things that will make life easier for you regarding ICAP and OKcollegestart if you can work on some of those over the next couple of months as you wrap up the school year. So this is a little checklist. We are going to be sharing this with you, so you don't have to write these down today. And then we're going to talk about each one of these here on the next slides. So first up is, make a note, put a reminder on your calendar, whatever you need to do. When the school year has wrapped and you are done with all your ICAP activities, go ahead and run, we recommend, this is not required, but we recommend that you go ahead and run the assignment and curriculum tracking report. That's your ICAP report. Run that for your 9th graders and for your 10th graders and save that to your computer or print it if you prefer paper. You can come back later and run these reports for previous school years. The information is still going to be there for you, but it tends to get more complicated. You have students who've come in, you have students who've transferred out. It's going to be helpful if you just have, at the end of the 2021 school year, this is all the ICAP work that was done for my current 9th and 10th graders. If you just have a static report that's not going to change at all. So we recommend run that assignment and curriculum. You want to wait till you have all your activities finished, so students are done logging in and doing those, and then just save that somewhere handy. Again, you can always come back. So don't panic if you forget to do this. We can help you run reports for prior years, but this is something that will make life easier down the road for you. The second box here is a suggestion to review your ICAP activities. Again, as you wrap up the year, look back. How did this go? Did you have too many activities? Do you have some you want to remove? Are you ready to add in some other activities? So kind of take a few minutes to look look back at 9th and 10th grade. How did that go? Do we want to make any adjustments? And keep in mind that this fall, it'll be your 9th, 10th, and 11th graders working on ICAP. So you want to go ahead and look forward and make sure your 11th grade ICAP activities are set up. You have reviewed them. It has the information you want, the activities you want listed. And also making sure it's visible to your 11th graders, that the ICAP is assigned to 11th grade. And then the last one here goes hand in hand as you're reviewing your ICAP activities. Each ICAP activity has tracking options, and excuse me, I know a lot of you, we've talked about this over the past couple of years, and we've worked with you as you're reviewing your activities to go ahead and look at all 4 grades. But if you are looking at your 11th grade activities, you're adding some things, you're taking things off, while you're on those pages, make sure you're looking at the tracking options, and they all say this activity has to be done in 11th grade. And we have directions for that on the Resources tab. And on the next slide, you're going to see one of our suggestions is ask us for help. That's what we're here for. So we are happy to help you work through the ICAP activity review and the tracking options, because I know that gets kind of complicated sometimes. A couple other things, think about what is happening with your 8th graders. If you're doing ICAP with them, if they already have OKcollegestart accounts, how is your school set up? So if you log into your professional center right now and you look up in the top right corner, it's going to say welcome and have your name, and then your school connection is listed. If you look up there and it says, I'm going to use Sayre as an example, they're on the call today. If you look up there and it says Sayre High School, that means that any 8th grader that has an account is actually connected to Sayre Middle School somewhere else. You're not seeing them. If it says Sayre High School at the top, you're only seeing 9th through 12th graders. So it would be important to reach out to your middle school and say, hey, if you have 8th graders with OKcollegestart accounts, before they leave this spring, they need to go into their accounts, log in, and update their profile to move to the high school. Students are advanced grade levels automatically. So it's going to take that 8th grader account and say, now the student's in 9th grade, but they're still going to be connected to the middle school. So they have to physically connect to the high school. If that all sounds confusing and you don't like that that's how it works, we are right there with you. If you only have one middle school and one high school in your district, we can combine them so that when you look in the top right-hand corner, it says Sayre Public Schools, and you have all students of all grades in one place. They're going to automatically move from 8th grade to 9th grade. We don't have to care if they're moving middle school to high school because they're all just under one Sayre Public Schools. So log into your account, look up there in the top right-hand corner on the Professional Center, and if it says high school separate from middle school and you want to combine them, just let us know. We do all that in the background. Nothing changes for you, for students. All the usernames still work. All the passwords are the same. All the work is still there. It just simplifies things. If you are at a bigger district, you have multiple middle schools, that's probably not going to be an option for you. So that's where that first box there is important, to make sure any 8th graders are logging in this spring and updating to be a high school student. As I mentioned, with any of these things we've talked about, we are more than happy to schedule one-on-one training with you, either literally just us and you, or if you have a couple of people on your end or a group of teachers you want to train, or whatever you need. And we are happy to do that. We are still, as of right now, we're still not visiting schools in person, but we are happy to jump on Zoom with you anytime it's convenient for you. And we work over the summer, so we will be here. Just let us know and we'll get that scheduled, and we'll be happy to help you with one piece of this, 2 pieces, whatever help you're needing. And then Sarah's going to tell you where you're going to get these reminders. We don't expect you to just all that, and we're gonna keep you on track.
Teresa, I think we have a couple questions. Are we saving those? I can't see them, but I see flashing.
I'm going to save that one for right now. You go ahead with this part.
Okay. All righty. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. So hi, everybody. I'm Sarah, and I'm happy to be here with you today. Thank you for joining us. So we just wanted to kind of touch base again and let you know we have an area that if you are not receiving communication from us, you can. I did send out a newsletter today for March. And if you got that, that means you are on this listserv. But if you or you have any coworkers that you would like to add to our listserv, this is where you can go. It's in the Pro Center. And it is on the far right side. If you scroll down where the arrow is, you'll see where the OKcollegestart listserv is. We don't send out a lot. We do just send out reminders if there's updates to the program, if there is a newsletter like today's, anything like that. So it's not all that often, about once a month. And it's just reminders and updates. So please feel free to join that or share that information or that link to get that information. So Teresa mentioned running ICAP reports. So this will be a reminder for those of you that haven't done this and have this on your list. We just want to share again how to run your ICAP reports that we've been talking about. So you will go into your Pro Center and go to the Reports tab. It's the second tab across the top. And you can go in there and you just click on the option that says Create a New Report. And from there, it will take you to the next screen. And for your ICAP, it is the Assignment and Curriculum Tracking Report. And that is what you want for your ICAP. And so then we're just going to kind of go over what it looks like as a reminder. So the next, if you click here, your next option will be kind of filtering what you're asking for. So here you will select your school's ICAP, and then you'll choose the page, which will be your grade level for the report run. And then you continue to scroll down and you want to filter by graduation year. And so that's where you'll pick the year of the students in those activities. So the reason you do that is the first time you're just kind of telling the report what activities to include. And then the second time you select 9th grade, if that's the one you're selecting, it's telling you to include those 9th grade students. So it seems redundant, but there's a reason. So then you click continue, and it'll give you the option to choose if you want a graph on the report or not. And you'll click create report. In some cases, this takes a few moments, so just give it a little time. The first thing that will pop up if you choose the graph will be something that looks like this. And you'll see the completion rate, percentage of completion for the activities you have for these students. And if you continue to scroll down, you will see a list of the activities, and they are numbered. And that correlates with the numbers on the chart you just saw. And so in this case, this report was for 9th grades. So these are your 9th grade activities. And it shows you the percentage that have been done. And if you continue to scroll down, you can see the chart with your students. And then the numbers that are across the top in the gray bar correlate with the previous screen that listed which activities those are. So you can quickly see which students have done it, which ones have not, with the blue check mark that is there. So if there is a check mark, it's done, those students are good. Keep in mind though that you may not have 100% completion across the board every year, and that's normal. You want to make sure that the activities that are required by law are completed by every student. But you might have like a pre-ACT assigned to a 10th grade, but not every 10th grader took the pre-ACT, and maybe only half of the class took it. So in that case, you'd expect that only half of the students would have completed that activity. And the same thing applies to activities like job shadowing or early college experiences. Not every student's going to be doing that this year. They just need to do it once before graduation. Not every student will have a career tech or concurrent enrollment to list in the early college activity, and that's okay. So the next step that you'll do once you review the information, kind of check it out a little bit, you can export it and you can save it to your computer. So you can see that there's a little export button there, it's circled in red, and then you can choose how you want to save it. And you can save it as a PDF or an Excel, whichever file format works for you. And you can also print it out up there. That was an option that Teresa mentioned earlier. If you decide to print, you can do that. Okay, so that's, again, a lot of information. We're just going to continue to remind you that we do have a resources page in the Pro Center that does help you walk step by step through your ICAP and the reports and how to track. And so this is the reports tab, resources tab, sorry, in the Pro Center. And you'll see where the arrows are. We have educator user guides that are PDFs. So they will give you step-by-step details, or you could also access the training videos that are listed there. And that walks you through running these reports if you need help. And as always, you can contact us if you want us to walk through with you. All right, this is the list of required ICAP activities. We created this to help you out because what's in the law looks a little different than what we have on OKcollegestart. So on the left-hand side, it shows what the required ICAP activity is. And then in OKcollegestart is what's in the center. And so that's what you'll see, the name of things in OKcollegestart when you're looking at your ICAP. So when you're adding reports and removing activities for next year or updating tracking options, just look at this chart when you're doing that, and it'll help you keep everything in order, and you'll recognize which is required by law or which is not. And so on the right-hand side is the notes just saying when this needs to be done and how often. And again, this is in the Pro Center, and it's under resources on the right-hand side. And that's the required ICAP activities chart. Also, we wanted to remind you of the companion account. So as you make changes to your ICAP for next year, and you might want to get more familiar with the student side of it, you can use the companion account. So on your Professional Center homepage, you'll see a button on the right-hand side. It's a little bit blue button that says companion account. If you click there, it opens up a new window, and it will show you as a student at your school. Initially, it will show you as a 12th grader, and you can look at the ICAP and see how it looks. And you can change that to other grade levels as well. While you're in there, you can complete activities. You can take the surveys. You can do the planning, and you can just do what you need to do in there, and it will not affect your reports. It just gets you a little more familiar with what your students are actually doing, and kind of gets you more comfortable with them as they need help. Okay, and then this is what you will see as a 12th grader when you use the companion account. You'll see that the ICAP template is at the bottom, and then the progress bar moves as the activities are completed. And then you can see across the top the different tabs that they have. You can see what some of the topics are for the 12th graders in this case at the high school, what they could be exploring, where they can do their scholarship search. So you're experiencing the student side just like your students do. Again, this is our resources page. On the right-hand side, you see a lot of guides, how to do things, how to manage students' accounts, create student accounts, batch create student accounts, looking at the student portfolio, creating new reports. And in the middle section is where you have lesson plans, where you can implement career and college readiness and OKcollegestart in any subject. So there's a lot of good suggestions there. And at the bottom of the middle section is also the test prep area. So students can go in there and do test prep reviews before they're taking their exams. And on the right-hand side, again, is resources. And there's student user guides that you can use, especially if you are doing remote working for the students. It's great there that they have a guide step-by-step on how they can do things. There are some student activities there. There's a scavenger hunt so they can get familiar with OKcollegestart. And then there's educator user guides and the training videos that we've mentioned. So there's just a lot of information here for how to use the companion account, running reports, customizing your ICAP, and so much more. There's a lot of resources here, but we're also here to help you with anything you need. But this is always a great place to start if you are unsure. And that's in the Pro Center on the Resources tab. We're going to pause for a moment on speaking, and we'd love to answer some questions for you.
Yeah, so we do have one question so far in the chat box, and please feel free to put some more questions in there. Or once we finish this one, if you want to unmute and ask, we can just kind of have a discussion as well. But there's a question asking, what are the ICAP expectations for a student with significant cognitive impairments, a student that's not cognitively able to complete the activities? Our understanding is that initially you start with every student is doing all the ICAP activities, and if there need to be accommodations or adjustments, you would do that through the student's IEP, just like any other graduation requirement that needs to be accommodated or adjusted. Beyond that, I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction in this very important issue. So the State Department of Education has some wonderful resources through the Special Education Services on their website about ICAP and about IEPs. And Lori Chestnut is a great resource for that as well. And I can, excuse me, in just a minute here, I will grab the link for the specific page on OKedge.com that has those resources for students that are in these positions. So I will drop that in the chat box here shortly, or if you just go to OKedge.com, it's on the page with all the other ICAP information. And then we have another question about how do you let us know you, excuse me, you want to combine middle school and high school. Madison, I see your comment and I will make a note and email you. But if you are not ready to say that to me today in the chat box, if you just email either Sarah or I, we're going to have our contact information here on the screen shortly. Just let one of us know and we will take care of it on our end and let you know when it's finished. It usually just takes a couple days to get everything together.
Yeah, I'll shoot you guys an email. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. What other questions does anyone have about OKcollegestart or ICAP requirements that we can talk about? I'll talk a little bit while you maybe are typing in, or again, feel free to just unmute and interrupt if you think of a question. We know that it's been another crazy year, but we are excited to help you wrap up this second year of ICAP. I had to stop and think, what year are we on? Second year officially of full ICAP. We have heard from some of you guys as things have been going this year, you know, areas that we can improve on it, and we are happy to hear those pieces of information. So if you are ever working with students and you just think, I wish it did this thing differently, or it had this different information, or anything along those lines, just let us know. We are happy to take that information and we make as many changes as we can to accommodate what works best for you guys. You are the ones in the classrooms with the students doing this work, so definitely keep us posted if there's anything that comes up that you just wish was different, and we're happy to look into that and do what we can to adjust.
I do have another question that I thought of as you're talking. So I am also the internship supervisor for my school in addition to the college and career advisor. So I stepped into this role in January, so I haven't gone through a lot of the training and processes that they put into place in my district before. So this may be a simple question, but we have several students that are going into internships and going into some work-based learning things. How do we add that to their portfolios? Is that through in their college start? Where does that go?
So there is an ICAP activity there are several ways you can do that. There's one that's called internships specifically, and it asks them questions. Where did you go? When did you go? What did you learn? You could have one for internships, one for job shadowing, one for mentorships, all the different options for that piece. Or there's one that's more generic that's called experiences. And so you could just have the activity called experiences assigned, and it still has prompting questions that say things like, what was the experience? When did you have it? What did you learn? So it's kind of the same thing. It's just a broader name for catching all of those in one. So that would just be activities you would have assigned. If you know you only allow your juniors and seniors to do internships, you can just wait and list it on 11th and 12th grade ICAPs and have that spot for them to list it there. So it's in their portfolio, it's on your tracking reports, it's all in one place for you. You can
That's
also
perfect,
track
thank you.
those separately. If you don't want to put them on OKcollegestart, you don't have to do that. It just tends to make it easier for the student to see it's all in one place, it's done, I've met the ICAP requirement.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions that prompted? So I am putting a link in the Zoom chat. If you're on Whova and you can't see that, let me know. Unmute and tell me. I am still not sure how these both work together, but the link that I just added is the implementing the ICAP page that's on OKedge.com, and that's the State Department's college and career website. And if you'll scroll to the very bottom of that page, the second to last paragraph has information about students that are on an IEP and how to complete ICAP. And there's frequently asked questions, there's a PowerPoint, and those all have Lori Chestnut's contact information. And she's a super helpful, great resource for that as well, so that students are getting the experiences they need, but you guys are also, you know, staying in compliance and doing things appropriately so nobody gets in any trouble anywhere. We have a couple more slides we're going to share some resources and information on. If you think of a question though, please feel free to pop it in the chat box or unmute and interrupt us, but we'll go ahead and finish up our presentation here. So I believe the first slide is just letting you know where you can find us again in the next couple of months. The Department of Education has a college and career readiness webinar series. And if you're not signed up for that, I think the link's actually at the bottom of that same OKEdge page that I listed. I think that's the very last item, is signing up for their monthly webinar series. And they've asked us to join them in May. So if you're already signed up for those, we will be on the agenda there. If you're not, the link listed here is for the professional development section of OKEdge. And we encourage you to join in those. They've already had several and they're great, and they have many more planned for the next couple of months. And they're focused all on ICAP and internships and work-based learning and all kinds of good resources there. And then if you are attending the State Regents Summer Institute, we will also have OKcollegestart sessions and information, and will be available then as well. That is June 8th and 9th. It's currently hoping, tentatively, we're planning for it to be in person. We're hoping we get to continue that route. As far as I know, it's still on schedule to be in person. And so if you're interested in that, the website is listed there, okhighered.org/student-prep. This PowerPoint is also already loaded on Whova. So if you go back to the Whova website or app, go to your agenda, find this session. If you scroll to the bottom, there are some resources linked, and this is on there. So you can just open up our slides and come to this one and click those links as well. There's also a resource flyer on there for all of our OCAP different programming that Sarah's going to talk briefly about those here, but the links for all of those are on the Whova page for this session as well. So if you are looking for more OKcollegestart information in the next couple of months, you'll see us in a couple of places. And then of course you can always just reach out for one-on-one help as well.
Okay, I just wanted to share with you and encourage you to follow us on Facebook. We are under OKcollegestart. So what we post on here, we put some updates and maybe some reminders. And then we also put content that you can share on Facebook to help students or families or other educators. And it helps them navigate through OKcollegestart. ICAP, and then just in general, college process and scholarships and admissions and everything like that. And then we also share information from pages from our other initiatives at OCAP. And so that's a lot of great information about financial literacy or paying for college and other scholarship searches and different things that you might be looking for. So please follow us on Facebook. I would love to see you there. And we do post about 3 times a week, sometimes more, depending on what we have going on. So love for you to follow us there. And then we also want to make sure that if you, for some reason, aren't able to reach Teresa or myself, the vendor behind OKcollegestart is XAP. So we are usually available, but if for some reason you need it at a different time, or if it's maybe unlocking passwords, things like that, you can contact XAP Customer Support team. They're available via email or an 800 number, and they are available 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they also have support members that are Spanish speaking. So if maybe you have family members that are looking at the parent side or whatever it might be, there is ability there to reach someone that might be bilingual. So I want to let you know about XAP. They are available, and their information is also in OKcollegestart. So it's on some of the resources and help pages. So we also mentioned this, but we are happy to schedule any one-on-one trainings for you or for a group at your school. You can email one of us and we can set that up, or there's an online registration form. If you visit the educator tab on the homepage of the student side, you can click on educator, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a training request form. You just click that and fill out some information, and we will get you on the calendar.
I'm going to jump in on this and also say, yes, fill out the form, shoot us an email, and don't feel like it has to be, a big dramatic professional development event that we need you for. Like, we're happy to do those. Yesterday I had a counselor email me and say, do you have any time this afternoon? I just want to be on Zoom while we do this report together. And I happened to be free. And so we jumped on for 10 minutes, did what she needed, and moved on. So, I can't always guarantee I'm sitting here available for you 24 hours a day, but shoot one of us an email. We're happy to do that kind of last minute, quicker thing as well. It doesn't have to be a full training session.
Right. Doesn't have to be formal, very casual. All right, and then just wanted to share with you some Oklahoma College Assistance Program resources and share with you what they are and kind of just briefly what they are. I'm sure you've probably been to some other sessions where these have been mentioned, but just wanted to go over some of these with you. We have You Can Go To is another initiative within OCAP. And with You Can Go To, it's mainly materials and tools to help students and families plan or prepare and pay for college. There's detailed financial aid, FAFSA information, their resources, scholarship database, and then access to awards by deadline and categories. So to reach You Can Go To, their website is youcangoto.org. And then there's Start with FAFSA, which is everything FAFSA related. And that is startwithfafsa.org, as you see there. And then we also have Oklahoma Money Matters. And Oklahoma Money Matters offers information and resources to educate students and parents and adult learners about managing personal finances and saving. There's also consumer credit and student loan management information. And you can reach Oklahoma Money Matters by going to oklahomamoneymatters.org. And then there's also College App Week. So for those that are not familiar, or as just a reminder, it's the nationwide effort for schools to host their own plans or activities. And this is to encourage high school student seniors to submit at least one online college application during this designated week, although it really doesn't have to be a designated week. It can be any time. It's usually in September, late September, but more information will be available, and that is at OKcollegestart.org. And then there is the Oklahoma FAFSA data portal, and that's where you can see FAFSA status for seniors or identify missing FAFSA information. And that's accessible through youcangoto.org. That's a quick summary of what we have at OCAP. There's a lot of information and resources, a lot of publications, things that you can use with students, parents, really great resources. So please check it out. And if you have questions or need follow-up, we are happy to help you get to the right person or right group. This is our contact information. So please jot down our numbers or emails, and you can reach out to us with any questions. If you may have forgot something that you wanted to ask, or if you do want to set up something for us to talk with you, walk you through something, please just contact us and let us know. I think we are finished there, but if you have any questions, please chime in, or if there's any in the chat box.
We do not have any questions in the chat box yet. I was just going to remind everyone we are still working remotely. So if you call any of these numbers on the screen, just leave us a message and we get those and we'll call you back. And we're happy to do that. It comes to our email right away, and so we can just call you right back and get in touch. I don't see any other questions coming in right now. Please let us know if something comes up that we can help with, and we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your conference, and spring break for, I think, a lot of you is coming up. So enjoy. I hope you can really have some downtime and recharge. So thank you guys and have a great afternoon.
Bye, everyone.